Back in the 80s, in the boom in the wake of the Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Indiana Jones franchise came Romancing the Stone. And while people think this actually ripped off Indiana Jones, it actually was written slightly before and kind of was done in parallel, but was hindered with all sorts of problems. The studio thought this film was so bad. Robert Zemeckis was fired from Cocoon. And because the movie actually went on to make money and was actually very successful, it actually got him the right to do Back to the Future. We, of course, know where things went from there. But I think when we put this with Back to the Future, we see that with Zemeckis, especially at this point in his career, he had a problem getting things right the first time. Obviously, with Back to the Future, he had cast Eric Stoltz, had a very dramatic feel, just did not work at all for studio or audiences. It was redone. Michael J. Fox. It's the legacy film that we all talk about. There's a lot of those kind of changes that happened here. All right, Kathleen Turner plays Joan Wilder, a romance novelist who gets caught up in this mystery cat and mouse adventure with some cloak and dagger elements because her sister gets kidnapped and there's secretly this map and all this stuff that takes her to the jungles of Colombia to solve the thing, kind of puts her in this world that she's been writing about. She runs across Michael Douglas's character Jack, who basically is the embodiment of her fictional hero and fantasy man that's been in her books for years. She's basically Miss Lonely Heart, and this adventure kind of brings her out of her shell. On the adventure, you have two different elements I think that are super fun that make it work well. This cliched Colombian warlord guy is the main villain. Look at the mustache and stuff, just completely silly. He's just after the prize. We don't really even know any other motivation other than that. Then, of course, we get all the antics that is Danny DeVito. Now, the thing about this film is all of the members were already successful. I think everyone, DeVito had been on Taxi, Michael Douglas had been on Streets of San Francisco, Kathleen Turner had done Body Heat and some other work. So everyone had been pretty successful, but Romancing the Stone for 1984 actually made them like superstars, kind of like really elevated everything. Michael Douglas, in particular, hadn't really done an action film. So this was kind of a different type of thing for him and made him more into this leading man thing. And I'm not a huge Michael Douglas fan. I think that he's fine for this one type of character that he plays, like Fatal Attraction and Wall Street and some different films that he's done later on through his career. But overall, I'm not a huge fan. DeVito is the only one in this group that I'm just like super infatuated, loving his body of work. And Zemeckis, I think, is ups and downs. He has a lot of great things, and then there's a massive fall off. But this was really great to see this adventure kind of come into light and play things. By the way, I just wanted to highlight that in this trailer, the trailer is kind of odd because it's done entirely from DeVito's point of view, as though he's on this adventure, he's stuck there, he doesn't want to do this anymore, and it's like little clips from the movie.
Sure, you miserable worm, you lied to me. You
And
said she was a city girl, out of her element. Just
so see, it's all stuff from the film, but it's interwoven around DeVito dialogue, and they have great little cutaways. This trailer was super great, and of its time, it really worked well to get everyone to want to go there. Miss him finding the jewel, which is really weird that they spoiled that in the trailer. I would not have remembered that actually happening in the trailer, but I remember seeing this in the theater, loving the adventure. Of course, the family enjoyed this. Would have seen this a little later than when it first came out. Would have been like a dollar theater kind of thing for us. Did not realize that they kind of show you that they got the jewel. But the trailer itself ends with this great moment where DeVito is doing his rants and
right,
raves.
I'll go back. But this time,
You're coming with me.
That's so fantastic. It's such a great ad. Fox did a great job of saving this project. So basically, it's just girl out of her element. Obviously, this has been done a million times. This trope of the author, that kind of thing. Kevin James has one, I think, that went directly to Netflix. Obviously, Lost City with Sandra Bullock that led to that Channing Tatum film we talked about on Talk Hard. So I don't know that I would watch this again. I watched it. It's probably the third time I've probably ever seen this movie. Saw it in a theater. Probably watched it one other time on VHS or something, and then I've watched it now. Maybe I've watched it for fourth time. I don't know. It's just not something I really would go out of my way to watch, but it's because I don't have a great affinity for the cast themselves, other than like DeVito, like I said. So, but it's a pleasant film. It did really well. Has some interesting backstories and elements, and I think it does kind of get a bit of a bad rap because of that rip-off era of what happened with Raiders, because this is actually one that kind of predated Raiders, but couldn't get out of the way. So if you don't know that, like there's all sorts of Solomon's Mine. Uh, there's a Quartermain film. There's different things that they did. a million people has turned down the role to be Jack Colton, the Michael Douglas character. Everyone from like Clint Eastwood to Stallone, I think Nicholson, Christopher Reeve, Superman, I think was also in talks. The DeVito character, Bob Hoskins from Who Framed Rabbit was also in talks. So this has been a long, storied, messy of a film that manufactured into something that actually was successful. So it's kind of cool to just take a moment, pause, and talk about that for a minute. So anyway, thanks for guys for watching. Let me know if you guys have seen this, what you guys are thinking about. Thanks for watching. I am Pops.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope